Pete Luckett made his fortune at his Halifax grocery store here on Dresden Row, Pete's Fruitique. He sold it to one of the big boys and invested his money here.
I'm a marketer, and now I'm a farmer and a grape grower and a wine producer, but at heart, I'm a marketer. I've always believed in life that spotting and identifying opportunities to take yourself or a business to another level are a key component of success. So when I first was looking at the valley, the Annapolis Valley here, which was 18 years ago, with an idea of moving there, initially it was for a lifestyle adventure. I bought this old farm that you see here just for the heck of it, to move to the country and because I could. It was at that time that the wine industry, the grape growing industry, was really just getting on its feet in Nova Scotia, only 18 years ago. And I saw it happening before me. I saw unfolding the whole fever for supporting locally produced foods, local beverages. I put two and two together. I planted a few vines for an experiment, and I thought, bingo, my first few little bunches of grapes, I thought there's got to be an opening for Pete Luckett there. That's how it started, just out of a little quirky idea and adventure.
There are challenges to growing grapes in the Annapolis Valley. Shortly after our visit in the spring of 2018, an unexpected killer frost wiped out close to 50% of this year's crop. But that was exceptional. The bigger challenge year to year is the choice of grapes. They grow mostly hybrids like Marechal Foch and Luckett Blanc, varieties that have inherent marketing challenges.
I believe the wine consumer is evolving, changing like everything else around us, but our new consumer I don't think is involved so much in varietals as the old world consumer, perhaps a bit of we call the wine snobs, who would look at this variety, look at that, where was it made, what the vintage. The new consumer is looking for a wine that they love, regardless of where it comes from and how it was made. If they like it, they buy it. If it tastes good to them, if it's got a sexy label on the front, and they buy it in the right, bingo, it comes together. And I am very much aware that a lot of the world of wine sommeliers, wine experts shun hybrid grapes because they don't necessarily have the depth of flavors and tannins that vinifera varieties do. After saying that, I think by blending hybrid grapes, which we do a lot of, we've managed to create some very special blends that I'm very proud of.
One of the marketing innovations at Luckett's is something called the appellation system. It's used elsewhere in the world, selling your wine as a regional variety. In this case, it's made up of the white hybrids, and they call it Tidal Bay.
Stylistically, fresh, crisp, aromatic whites are something that we do very well each year. So Tidal Bay was a way to amalgamate all the goodness of these grape varieties that prosper here that maybe don't in other areas, that are otherwise hard to market because they are the unknown varietals compared to what people really are familiar with. So it's taking all the complications out and coming up with a style, naming it Tidal Bay, and marketing it in that capacity. It's been hugely successful for all the wineries involved here.
Mike Main Guy is the winemaker at Luckett's. One of his jobs is putting wine in big oak barrels and burying them. The result is called buried red, also buried white, and it ain't cheap.
And the unknown factor is what makes buried red and buried white fantastic. Basically what we do is we make a simple, really minimalist intervention wine, stick it into barrels, put it underground between 8 and 10 feet, and leave it for 2 years and see what happens. And what we've discovered is that at that depth, there is very constant temperature, very constant humidity, and very limited exposure to oxygen. When we dig the wine up, every time that we've done it, it's been really special and really interesting and unique.
And there's a bit of magic that takes place in that wine. That's why it costs a lot of money. We have to hire a flipping excavator, come in and dig these big holes, all the barrels are in. But it's a premium price wine, and people, you know what they love? They love the wine, but they love the story.
Pete will tell you, marketing is all about the story. That's why Pete has installed an English phone booth smack in the middle of his vineyard. And the thing is, the phone booth, well, it really works.
Hang on, it's a phone box, not a phone booth. Yeah. I was working, sometimes the best ideas come from not just yourself, but from your team. I was working in the vineyard in the early days here with Marcel. He's our Swiss vineyard manager. We're pruning grapes together. He looked over at me, he says, Pete, just out of the blue, we should have a British phone box in the vineyard. I says, Marcel, that is a brilliant idea. I made it happen. That was Marcel's idea, not mine. So once it got here and we got it established in the vineyard, I took it to another level and I pulled in a favor from an old pal of mine, and we arranged to have toll-free phone calls anywhere in North America, which tickles the fancy of our customers like you wouldn't believe. It's all about a customer experience. When you are selling wine from the cellar door, it's a different business model if you build the winery based on an export model where you don't necessarily stand in front of the consumer. When you're in front of that customer and they're there before you, it's all about that engagement, that commitment, that whole experience they feel from the minute they pick up the phone and talk to one of your team, from when they walk in the door and they're greeted at the tasting bar, when they sit down at our patio restaurant. It's any of them factors. Experiences are an emotional connection to your business. And I'm all about that, reaching out to customers' emotion. Regardless of the product, it's making customers for life.